Good morning and happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to year number 4 of Pitt to the Point. As usual, I'm Lily Peters.
And I'm Natalie Silverman. Pitt to the Point is your weekly 1-hour news and magazine program that airs live from state-of-the-art Pitt studios.
Pitt to the Point covers everything from the University of Pittsburgh to the City of Pittsburgh, as well as national and international events, news, people, and stories.
We're back with your favorite segments, such as Alumni Spotlight and Clubbing at Pitt, which showcases one of our amazing student-run clubs here.
And we'll feature stories from our incredible University of Pittsburgh regional campuses, and crossing over at Pitt is back to show you how different departments at Pitt collaborate on the most innovative teaching in the country.
We have some new segments too, like MVP, our most valuable professor, and you will love our Pitt in the Wild feature.
And today we will be joined live by our affiliate college and high school partners and their student anchors who will tell you what's going on in their schools and in their communities. Now, Natalie, we are statewide from Pittsburgh to Lancaster to Philadelphia.
And of course, we'll continue to bring you the most up-to-date news from the world of politics, sports, medicine, and entertainment in the City of Pittsburgh and at the University of Pittsburgh.
The University of Pittsburgh is expecting a major cut in research funding after a new policy change from the National Institutes of Health.
The NIH will lower the allocation for indirect costs, that's funding for things like lab maintenance, from 59% to just 15%. This will also cost Pitt about $183 million.
With these cuts, many research projects at Pitt, including those aimed at treating diseases like Alzheimer's and cancer, could be at risk.
Pittsburgh is a major recipient of NIH funding, and this reduction is expected to affect the local medical research community and economy. The university is now reviewing the impact.
This change is also drawing criticism, some saying it could slow scientific process and affect for new treatments for patients nationwide.
Pittsburgh area teacher Mark Vogel is home. The 63-year-old was detained in Russia in 2021 and sentenced to 14 years of hard labor on drug charges. However, the White House confirmed that Vogel had been released and was now back home in the U.S.
National Security Advisor Mike Waltz says the release was part of an exchange, though details remain unclear. Vogel's family, including his 95-year-old mother, have fought for years for his return, arguing his case was treated unfair compared to other detained Americans, like WNBA star Brittany Griner, who was released in 2022.
Pennsylvania lawmakers pushed for his release, and now, after more than 2 years, Vogel has been reunited with his loved ones.
Love that I was given sustained me for 3.5 years in prison, and it had me in hospitals for more than 100 days. And knowing I had the support of my fellow Pennsylvanians, my family, my friends, it was so overwhelming.
President Donald Trump announced Saturday that he has revoked the security clearance of several former Democratic officials and legal authorities.
Trump stated that the move was intended to punish 8 high-profile Democrats by preventing them from accessing classified information and entering federal facilities. In other political news, presidential candidates for Pitt's Student Government Board are heating up, with 2 tickets announced for the 2025 election.
Voting will take place from March 11th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., with results announced at SGB's public meetings in Northeast Place. Now, for more on this, let's turn to political reporter Ryan Tarabokia for more on the election and a special guest.
Donald Trump's administration have been putting loyalty tests into place. With these loyalty tests comes a screening not only current federal employees, but also hopeful candidates. For those seeking jobs within Trump's administration, they've imposed questions screening them on their dedication to Trump throughout his candidacy. Screenings for employees included questions such as, which presidential candidate did you vote for? And when did your MAGA revelation occur? The Trump Transition website features questions for possible candidates, including, how have you supported Trump in 2024? Volunteering, fundraising, door knocking, or phone calls? The student government body will be holding its 2025 election this March. Students will be electing a president, vice president, as well as board members to fill the 7 available seats. Today, I am joined with the 2 presidential candidates, Marley Pinsky and Mercy Akamu. Mercy, Marley, thank you for being here today. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing really good. Doing pretty great. Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Now, Mercy, one of your goals is to increase funding for clubs, which are currently reliant on these student activity fees, which is $100 per semester for students. How do you intend on boosting funds for clubs to allow them to continue to hold events?
Yeah, so part of our plan that we're working on is not increasing the student activities fee, so students will still be paying $100 into this fee. But we plan on following the work of our predecessors and asking the university for more money. In addition to this, we also wanted to increase the amount of money SUB gets from the allocated fee. We don't actually get all of the money that's paid into the fee, we get a percentage of it. And so further down the line, Evan and I want to work with administration to get a greater percentage of that fee so that we're able to give out more to clubs at the end of the day.
Now, Marley, one of your focuses on your campaign is for the renters' rights of students, which in a city such as Pittsburgh does involve going to landlords and companies that are not tied into the University of Pittsburgh. How do you intend on aiding students who do not rely on on-campus housing?
Great, that's a great question. So since it is a complicated issue that involves, landlords and companies off campus, we don't necessarily have to work through them, but what we can do is tap into student voice and really get their concerns and how we can help them. So what I'm already sort of working on with the Renters First ad hoc committee within Student Government Board is surveying student renters on their experiences off campus. So essentially we're trying to gather, why did you move off campus? Was it the cost? Was it food, autonomy, just, their general reasoning? And what have been their experiences so far? What sort of housing conditions are they met with in Oakland? And how their landlord's been treating them? And do they know their rights as renters and how to really be empowered and stand up for themselves when those rights may be violated? So we want to gather this data so that we can understand, some of the conditions in Oakland, so we can better advocate for off-campus students. And we can also get to know which landlords are being more respectful of student rights, which ones might be taking advantage of them since they know they have such a huge market of under-knowledgeable consumers. And we want to use that data to create a portal or a database of renters or landlords off campus, so that students can, check out that survey data, read up on their landlords, and be more informed when they're deciding where to live off campus.
Now, Mercy, your running mate, Evan Levasseur, has spoken about his relationship with Pitt Eats. How will you utilize this relationship to expand Pitt's dining options as well as ensuring food safety for students?
So this is more of Evan's initiative, but from what I've gathered, what he's doing is working with Chartwells, which is the group that provides Pitt with his food, and basically he's working to create these committee meetings where students can go in, voice their concerns about the food quality, and he's also reaching out to a lot of organizations who have already pointed out issues with the food. For instance, ASA has pointed out that the menu that they put out for some of the events that they were doing for Lunar New Year was quite terrible. It wasn't representative at all. So what Evan is doing is fielding those concerns into an actual committee where students can meet with Chartwells, talk about their issues, and hopefully see more change in the upcoming months.
Mm-hmm. Now, Marley, your running mate, Olivia Budike, has worked on SGB's facilities and transportation chair and has carried this into your running initiatives as well. So what are your and her plans for increasing safety for transportation as well as increasing transportation options for students trying to get around campus?
Yeah, so Olivia already does a lot of really amazing work. Her role is the Campus Operations and Innovations Chair, where essentially she advocates for safe and accessible transportation on campus, as well as improvements to facilities and technology all across campus. So we really want to build off a lot of that work, especially with the Safe Rider initiative that she's been doing. So she's been advocating with transportation to make the Safe Riders more accessible and more safe and clear, with signage that indicates it's not just a random vehicle that's picking people up in the middle of the night. So she's doing a lot of really great work there. We were trying to build off of that, as well as focusing more on accessibility. Since, so far in our campaign, we've been trying to talk to a lot of different student organizations and students with, different needs that we might not be seeing ourselves. And we've seen that there's a lot of accessibility needs with students with disabilities. whether it's with like the accessibility shuttle not being available to all students, even if they have like a temporary disability, or just shuttles not running as effectively or on schedule as they're supposed to. So we really want to take in all of those concerns and use that to fuel our work in transportation.
Thank you guys, fantastic answers. And if you would like to vote in this year's upcoming election, here's how. Voting will take place on March 11th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and students will receive an email with their ballots. Students can vote for 1 presidential candidate and 3 board members. The results will be announced later on March 11th during the student government body meeting at Nordy's Place. Mercy, Marley, thank you for being here today. It was a pleasure. Best of luck to the both of you. With Pitt to the Point, I'm political reporter Ryan Tarabokia. Natalie, Lily.
Thanks, Ryan. President Trump reimposed a 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum imports into the U.S. on Monday, eliminating exceptions and closing loopholes that have allowed some importers to sidestep previous trade measures.
Although the U.S. primarily imports steel from Canada, Brazil, and Mexico, the policy is largely directed at China, whose steel continues to enter the American market through indirect means.
And with so many newsworthy events happening on campus, it can be hard to keep up with it all. That's where our newspaper, the Pitt News, comes in.
Here are the top headlines from our award-winning newspaper. It is the Pitt News on Pitt to the Point.
An organization known as the Scarf Bombardiers has been donating homemade scarves throughout Pittsburgh for over a decade, and Pitt's campus has seen an influx of these scarf bombs this winter. Suzanne Volpe, the founder of the Bombardiers, ties the scarves in high-traffic places such as libraries, churches, and bus stops. Volpe said she hopes to donate 3,000 scarves this winter. Did you know that tarot cards, which some believe to have psychic properties, can also be used as storytelling aids? The Center for Creativity recently hosted a workshop to use the fortune-telling cards, each with a unique image, for creative purposes. Participants used the cards to develop a story from beginning to end, using the symbolism of the cards to guide them. Even though they had the same cards, no participant's story was the same. Since he took office, President Trump has signed a series of executive orders rolling back legislation aimed at combating climate change. Pitt environmental professors Mark Abbott, Patrick Sherry, and Ward Alabich spoke out against these measures, arguing that they called for increased fossil fuel production for a market that doesn't need it and must shift towards clean energy solutions. They pointed to climate success stories such as the 1987 Montreal Protocol as examples of how climate legislation should be handled.
College professors, first of all, they're very willing to talk. They're very willing to teach people. So you have a basis in factual information. It's really important.
How high did those eagles fly?
And we're back with a new group of high school broadcasting all-stars.
All that and more when we return to Pitt.
Part of the University of Pittsburgh is the Cathedral of Learning.
There's a lot you can say about this place. Gritty? Well, we prefer tough. Resilient. Innovative, of course. We are part of the city that built the backbone of America, and now we're making it bend and flex in every which way.
Your time at Pitt has also prepared you for what is possible.
But there's one thing you can't deny. When the world needs something, we find a way to give it to them. Whether that's defeating a crippling disease,
Salt's exhausting labors had paid off.
or fighting off the world's next life-threatening illness, we focus our eyes and attention on the ones who need us most, day in and far out.
The Pittsburgh Panthers are the National Collegiate Champions.
So the question we have to deal with is, can we work and build together even when we're different?
All this comes naturally when you've built a foundation on community in a city that feels more like a family at a time when there's basically no other choice. So yeah, there's a lot you can say about this place. But this is what we know. We know that we've earned more than $1 billion in research funding just this year alone. We know that we're breaking ground for more groundbreaking innovation. We know that if you throw a problem our way, we'll do the work to solve it.
You are here, standing, greeted by the end of one journey and the beginning of the next.
We know that it's possible at Pitt.
Thanks for tuning back in. It's The Point. Happen to watch a story today that piques your curiosity? Want to find out more about what's going on in Pittsburgh? Visit our website.
That's right, Natalie. If you want to find out more about the world of politics, medicine, business, technology, and more, log on to pittsburghpoint.com. Not only can you see clips from today's show, you can also read about the topics that interest you and more. Check it out on pittothepoint.com. The Philadelphia Eagles had a dominant win over the Kansas City Chiefs this past Sunday at the 59th Super Bowl.
And one thing about Philly fans is they're going to celebrate. Lucky for us, our very own Isaiah Waddington is live from downtown Philadelphia at the Victory Parade. What's going on, Isaiah?
Thanks, guys. I'm here on Broad Street at the Philadelphia Eagles Victory Parade, where it's going to be a fun day for Philadelphians. They are expecting around 700,000 to 1 million fans going up and down Broad Street to celebrate the Philadelphia Eagles Parade. The parade starts at 11, starting in South Philly at the Philadelphia Sports Complex, and will work its way up to the Philadelphia Art Museum, where at 2 o'clock, the Philadelphia Eagles players will be giving speeches to the fans that love them so much. So, one of the people that we will be seeing today is one of our fans and very own Pitt to the Point alum and Pitt alum, Chase Murphy. Chase, how are you doing today?
Hi, great to be here, guys. This is awesome. Good to see you.
So Chase is a videographer and photographer down here in Philadelphia. Can you just tell us some of the work that you've been able to do?
Yeah, it's really cool. You know, I work full-time in video production in Center City for Jefferson Health, but then I do a lot of freelance on the side, particularly in sports videography with athletes. And I've had the opportunity to work with some really cool athletes like Brandon Graham and Allen Iverson. And it's been really fun.
Speaking of some of these athletes that you got to work with, a lot of them were able to play in this game on Sunday, like Kenny Pickett, like Brandon Graham, like C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So how did it feel to be able to see those players win their first or second championships?
It's really cool just as a fan, just, you know, having watched the Eagles my whole life, being from the Philadelphia area, but then also having worked with some of these guys and met them on a personal level, really special, particularly like Brandon Graham, BG. He's an amazing athlete, an amazing person, and just a really nice guy. And, you know, having met him, just to know it might be his last season and his last game, it's really cool to see them up there. And having worked with them, just it makes it even more special. And then obviously someone like Kenny Pickett, you know, I shot some photos and videos of him back when he was at Pitt. Circuitous route, but it's cool to see him win a Super Bowl even as a backup with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's pretty cool.
We love seeing you be able to tie in your Pitt ties to your ties here and being able to do your work. So also, as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, how did it feel to watch that game and watch them win?
It was amazing. I mean, I was 18 when they won the first one in Super Bowl 52, and I was still in high school. Now, you know, being an adult, living in the city, and having covered some of these guys and videoed them, it's really cool. And just as a fan, like, it's amazing. You know, this city's amazing. I love living here. I love working here. And no one does it like us, man. No one does it like us.
So here is the fun question. Were you on Broad Street after the game on Sunday? And if you were, how did you feel? What were the vibes down here?
I was. I went to a Super Bowl party, a friend of mine's off Broad Street. And then, you know, you have to. I mean, it gets a little crazy, but you have to storm Broad Street. That was the unofficial party. Now this is the official party. And, you know, things get a little wild out there, but that's what makes Philly, Philly.
Hey, they say it's a fun time down here after we win championships. It's very rare to see us win championships. So yeah. I'm a Philly guy. You're a Philly guy. Do you think in the near future we'll be able to see another parade coming down Broad Street for any other teams in Philadelphia?
You know, I do. I hope so. You know, the Phillies runs have been really special. They, you know, have fallen just a little short. I'm a big Sixers guy. Grew up a big basketball fan. They're having a really hard season. They've been struggling a lot. But, you know, I think even just, you know, the Eagles, like, I could see this as like a dynasty. I mean, we dominated the Chiefs in that game. It wasn't even close. And we have a lot of these young guys on their way. So, hey, maybe next year or the year after, I think Philly sports right now is really having a moment. And hopefully we get more parades down Broad Street.
Yeah, I'll never complain about a parade down Broad Street. And for you guys in Pittsburgh watching, if you need a connection to this parade, we have Pitt alums Avante Maddox, AJ Wood, and Kenny Pickett, who are all on this team. AJ Wood and Kenny Pickett were part of the ACC championship teams, so that's always a fun thing to connect back to Pittsburgh. I'm Isaiah Waddington, regional campus reporter. Back to you, Natalie and Lily.
You know, and speaking of people that are sure to be happy about that Super Bowl win, we turn to our college and high school segment, where this week we are checking in with Westchester East. Thomas, how are you guys doing?
To the point in college and high school experience. We are also proud in Vikings Nation of our very own charity concert called House of Hope.
Every April, talented musicians and performers school-wide gather for an incredible night to benefit the Home of the Sparrow, an organization that partners with women facing homelessness to secure housing and achieve long-term stability.
Before we watch our feature, we would love to recognize our own world champion Philadelphia Eagles as they parade down Broad Street later this morning.
Westchester East High School is proud once again to host our annual House of Hope charity concert on Friday, April 4th. The House of Hope concert is more than just a night of incredible music. It's a fundraising event for Home of the Sparrow, an organization dedicated to empowering homeless women and their children. Their mission is to provide shelter, support, and the resources women need to rebuild their lives and find a path to lasting independence. The concert will feature musicians, bands, dancers, and other creative performances. Throughout the night, money will be collected from the audience members, including the Miracle Minute, when the student planning committee runs around the auditorium for 60 seconds, looking for any loose change from the audience. We hope to see our entire community April 4th for an incredible night of music to benefit a truly wonderful cause.
For coming on our show. Thank you guys so much for being able to share that charity event with us and joining us. It's so nice to meet you two. Are you guys just able to talk about, have you been to this event before?
Yeah, I've been to this event 3 times so far.
Yeah, and in those 3 times that you've been, what do you think has been the most important thing that you've taken away from it? And why are events like this so important for your community?
The most important thing I have to say about this event is less about actually fundraising the money, but bringing awareness to the cause itself.
Yeah, and also, Thomas, I see that Eagles jersey. Talk about being a part of that community in the city of Philly. How has that been this last week?
Well, the entire town's been buzzing all week. Everyone in Philadelphia and here in Westchester love our Eagles so much.
Yeah, I mean, we're all the way across the state in Pittsburgh, but I've been calling it mini Philly for the past week. You would have thought we were in downtown Philadelphia on Sunday. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It was great to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
And you know, more on those Eagles because we just cannot get over that fabulous win over the Chiefs. Fans at Pitt had a wild night as many students hit the street to cheer on the defeated Kansas City Chiefs.
With many Pitt undergrads hailing from the Philly area, it was a night of celebration. Now our Pitt beat reporter Katie Pearson has more on the scene.
Plus, Hillman's library renovations continue, set to be completed by early 2025. This project kicked off back in 2020.
Katie, what can you tell us?
Well, Lily and Natalie, one thing's for sure, whenever you're at Pitt and you meet someone new and you ask them where they're from, the answer is almost always, oh, I'm from outside of Philly. Well, after this past weekend, those Philly residents certainly had something to celebrate. After the Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Kansas City Chiefs 44-20 on Sunday, over 1,000 students took to Forbes Avenue, rocking Kelly Green jerseys and chanting "Fly, Eagles, Fly." After making their way to the Cathedral of Learning, they paid homage to their home city, climbing light poles and celebrating their team's victory. And while this next story might not have people climbing light poles out of excitement, it's certainly something to celebrate as the Hillman Library renovation nears completion.
Students are excited to see the final product, but are also excited to have less construction on campus.
Students are starting to see noticeable differences in construction projects at Pitt, namely the Hillman Library reinvention. Junior marketing major Rebecca Friedman discussed how this construction has impacted her college experience.
The Hillman Library has greatly impacted my college experience by having me explore other study spots and not just go directly to Hillman. And also Hillman has now limited tables and limited spots. So it is really hard after or before class to find a spot in Hillman. So it has made me have to walk to other places or study in my dorm and less time for me to study. So it has definitely greatly impacted my experience here.
The renovation of the Hillman Library began in 2019. It is part of an extensive project aimed to modernize the library's facilities, improve spaces for collaboration, and enhance its technological offerings. It is part of a larger initiative to upgrade the campus facilities and ensure that they meet the needs of students and faculty. The project has taken place in multiple phases and has cost approximately $130 million. The first phase focused on building-wide infrastructure, while the second phase renovated the first and second floors. Now, in its final phase, the library will have updated restrooms, audio and video production suites, and a computer lab. Friedman said she is excited to see the final result.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing the new renovations in Hillman because renovation did start during my freshman year. And as you can see, it's still going on. So I can't wait to see why it's been taking so long and the finished result.
The project is set to be complete in early 2025. For those interested in learning more about this project, visit library.pitt.edu/Hillman Reinvention.
These renovations will bring many new amenities to the Hillman Library, making it a study destination for Pitt students. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt Beat reporter Katie Pearson. Lily, Natalie. Thanks, Katie. Now, Pitt is home to many sports legends, both past and present.
We're talking all things sports when Pitt to the Point returns.
Time for your next adventure. I have no idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. How exciting.
In a few moments, you are going to participate in our formal convocation ceremony, and it will be the official beginning of your Pitt journey. Academic traditions have a long history, and with this ceremony, you will become part of that history.
Hello and welcome back to Pitt to the Point.
The show has flown by today, but don't worry, we are going to be here until the end of April. You'll see next week it's going to be a little bit of a different cast, but we're certainly excited to see our new anchors.
Yeah, some new faces, but Pitt to the Point still airs every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on the amazing University of Pittsburgh website. the Pitt to the Point website, and our YouTube channel. You can also find a taped version of the show on Pittsburgh's CBSN, which is KDK's streaming platform, on Saturday at noon.
And we're excited to also say you can catch a re-airing of today's Pitt to the Point in Philadelphia. Fly Eagles Fly every Saturday at 12 noon on CBS Philadelphia's streaming platform.
Yeah, one thing about us is that we love Philadelphia and the Eagles as a whole this show. And in sports, Pitt's very own, and now the Eagles, Kenny Pickett's journey from his journey here to the NFL has reached a new high, ending with a Super Bowl win for the Eagles.
On February 9th, 2025, the Eagles claimed a 40-22 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Pickett, who has spent the last season as Jalen Hurts' backup, took 7 snaps in the late fourth quarter, helping to close out the win.
This marks the Eagles' second Super Bowl title, with Hurts named Super Bowl MVP.
For Pickett, a New Jersey native and a longtime Eagles fan, it was a surreal experience. While his on-field time on the field was limited, his presence on the roster meant a lot to him and fans following his college career at Pitt.
For more in sports,
thank you. I'm grateful to be here. Just be where your feet are. Put everything into the team. Good things happen. So it's been a good year. Every place does it differently, but the ultimate goal is to be here. And, there's different ways to get here. I think this team, this franchise has a really good plan on trying to get here. Seeing the way guys show up to work every day, there's really no distractions. Guys are locked in, and there's no secret as to why we're here. We got good players that show up to work.
for more in sports, we turn to our city sports reporter, Grace Lamberto. Grace?
Major League Baseball clubs have reported to spring training this week. Pitchers and catchers reported to their training locations this Monday, with the rest of the team following shortly after. The Pittsburgh Pirates reported to Lakecomb Park in Bradenton, Florida for their training. I got to talk to columnist from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Jason Mackey, about what he thinks the Pirates should focus on in spring training.
Every year brings new challenges, and every year in today's world of college athletics, you seem to be recreating or building your team year after year. We're really excited about the returners we have coming back, excited about the recruiting class that we were able to bring in, and really just excited to get to work. In today's landscape of college athletics, new is a big word when it comes to building a roster.
The preseason rankings are, it's a cool accolade, I guess you could say that, yeah. Obviously makes you feel good in the mirror a little bit, but the job hasn't even started and it's not really even close to being finished.
Great to have the nominations and what they were able to, based off of their numbers and things last year. This team loves playing for each other. They love being around each other. They've worked extremely.
Last year they employed this like one size fits all offensive approach where they're taking a lot of pitches. I'd like to see them be a little bit more aggressive, swing earlier in counts. Obviously it's the Pirates, right? So there's not a lot of external improvements, that sort of stuff coming in there. They need to, have their individual players get better, young guys growing up, and there's a whole bunch they can improve. But, offensively, putting the ball in play more, swinging earlier in counts, being more aggressive, that sort of stuff is my biggest takeaway. With Tommy Pham, I wrote this the other day, or maybe it was yesterday. He's got kind of a lively personality. He doesn't take a lot of crap from people. He can kind of stir it up. I think he's going to be a really good clubhouse leader. He's somebody that isn't afraid to be honest with his teammates, to demand accountability, that sort of thing. And so it's going to go one of two ways. I mean, it's either going to end horribly and people are going to hate him, or they're really going to like him and appreciate what he brings to the team. But the Pirates have to create a scenario where guys want to come here, where players, if you're a Major League Baseball player and you're good enough to have a contract offer on the table for multiple years, chances are you have better suitors than the Pirates. And the Pirates have not been good enough in recent years to attract those players or to install enough belief in those guys to bring them here. I enjoy it while you have it. Those are my thoughts. I like Paul a lot. And he's a fantastic young man. I don't see any way he stays here. They're not going to pay him. It's probably like 5 times what their largest contract ever is. I mean, he's going to go somewhere and make a lot of money, and I don't begrudge him for it. So why, if you're Paul Skeens, would you sign here and take that away? I'd like to think maybe something can work out, but no. And that's just kind of where it's at. And the Pirates, in the meantime, are happy to take Skeens with what he's doing right now and the way the economic system is, and say, you know what, we've got you for this long and we're going to enjoy it.
Pirates will play their first spring game on February 22nd against the Baltimore Orioles. First pitch will come at 1:05 p.m. Big thanks to Jason Mackey for taking the time to talk. Fans and analysts of the Pirates are excited to see what they have to come this spring training. From Pitch to the Point, I'm City Sports reporter Grace Limburgo. And for more on our Panthers baseball, we turn to Pitt Sports reporter Noah Dan. Noah.
Thanks, Grace. The Pitt baseball season is about to begin, and the team is looking a little different. The roster is made up of more than half of newcomers. This allows returners such as first baseman Luke Cantwell to take a step up. Cantwell was ranked the 5th best first baseman in the country and first in the ACC. This week, I had the chance to talk with Cantwell and head coach Mike Bell to discuss this upcoming season.
Every year brings new challenges, and every year in today's world of college athletics, you seem to be recreating or building your team year after year. We're really excited about the returners we have coming back, excited about the recruiting class that we were able to bring in, and really just excited to get to work. In today's landscape of college athletics, new is a big word when it comes to building a roster.
The preseason rankings are, it's a cool accolade, I guess you could say that, yeah. Obviously makes you feel good in the mirror a little bit, but the job hasn't even started and it's not really even close to being finished.
Great to have the nominations and what they were able to, based off of their numbers and things last year. This team loves playing for each other. They love being around each other. They've worked extremely hard in the off season.
We've gelled very well. Coach Bell and the coaching staff here has done a great job with allowing the upperclassmen, allowing the returners just to kind of pave the groundwork for the newcomers, pave the groundwork for the transfers.
I think this opportunity for free admission, whether you're a student on campus, whether you're a local within the community, it allows them to come out and see the future stars of tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd say that the Charles L. Cost Field, the Chuck is what we call it. It's a beautiful place.
Game day atmospheres are huge for ballparks. And for those that follow college baseball and understand that a home crowd advantage, a home field advantage, a great atmosphere, a great ballpark venue can provide a lot for the home team.
Having fans, having an atmosphere, it's huge for us. The University of Pittsburgh baseball team loves seeing fans. We love seeing people out there just rooting for us.
We're excited to get going. I think we have some great personalities, some great characters, and some great young men to follow, and I'm excited about the future of Panther baseball.
This year is the fact that all home games held at the Charles L. Cost Field will be free for everyone in attendance. Both Campbell and Bell want to see everyone there to create a fun and intense game day environment. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt Sports reporter Noah Dan. Natalie, Lily?
So Noah, you just mentioned, the team is comprised of half of a new roster. How do you think their season's going to shape up with that?
I think it'll be a fun one. Campbell mentioned that it's a really exciting team this year, and he really wants to have all of the fans, both students here on campus and fans from outside of Pittsburgh, to keep an eye on this Pitt baseball team as they look to have a successful season.
Yeah, I mean, anything free is definitely a good initiative to me, so go Pitt baseball. Khadijah Thai has joined the 1,000-point club.
Dominant grad student posted a career-high 17 rebounds to go along with 22 points to beat SMU 58-57 on Saturday.
This victory marked Pitt women's basketball 11th win of the season, its highest total since the 2016 to 2017 season.
The Panthers will face the Virginia Cavaliers on Sunday. Tip-off set for 2 p.m.
A sad closure in Station Square,
plus a Pittsburgh area podcast worth checking out when we come back.
You have to throw caution to the wind. Know you're capable.
There's possible.
The University of Pittsburgh.
And then there's our kind of possible. The kind that changes the face of medicine, tech, and learning.
It might have been called a miracle.
Because when we say it's possible at Pitt, we mean it. And the proof is in the people. Like Rachel Fairbanks, our top of the class and top of the game athlete of the year, who's serving nothing but excellence. Fulbrights, we're full of them. From BB to Jasmine to the next 250, including 10 in the past year alone.
It's really part of that bolstering of our global reputation.
Possible lives inside everyone at Pitt, from every corner of every campus. Like the McGowan Institute, where they are rethinking, researching, and completely revolutionizing how the body heals through a novel approach to regenerative medicine. All led by visionaries like Dr. Chandan Sen.
You can generate tissue types without using stem cells. And now we know that is possible. That will completely change the paradigm of healthcare.
Our kind of possible paves the way through selfless action and giving.
We all come together with a shared goal of giving today to transform tomorrow.
Ever see 11,000 Proud fuel this much opportunity in 24 hours? We have, and you're about to see it too, in the progress all around you, as our people continue to bring our vision and our promise to life, in newer, bigger, and bolder ways. It's possible at Pitt.
Welcome back to Pitt to the Point. In more local news, the Hard Rock Cafe in Pittsburgh Station Square is closing after more than 2 decades of serving the community. The restaurant, located on West Station Square Drive, will close its doors for good tomorrow, February 15, 2025, when its lease expires. Opening in 2002, which delivered me and Lily, the Hard Rock Cafe featured a stage, seating for 200, and a private indoor patio. This closure impacts 55 staff members who were given the option to transfer to other locations. The restaurant's spokesperson expressed gratitude to Pittsburgh fans for their support over the years. A new podcast is helping women-owned small businesses bridge the gap between big corporations and independent shops. Robin Towns, a buyer for GMC, shares her expertise on how to get products on store shelves through her podcast, Shelf Talk. Now, let's go to our business and tech reporter, Olivia McDonald, for more. Hey, Olivia.
Thanks, Lily and Natalie. Roberta Towns started a podcast called Shelf Talks, where she talks to women-owned businesses and hears about their company and brand. With being a buyer for over 7 years, Roberta is using her expertise in helping companies get their products onto shelves.
So Shelf Talks is a podcast where I interview female founders that have not only launched product-based businesses and launched their brand, but have also successfully been able to get into retail stores and get on shelf. Really, the mission behind it is to, one, be able to amplify and highlight these female founders' stories, which are all different and unique, which I think also just lends into the fact that there's so many different ways in order for you to get into retail. It's not just one way. So I think that's important for new brands and founders to know. And then on the flip side of it, it allows for other like indie brands, female-led founders that are new and really looking for ways in order to how they can get into retail stores, to kind of use it as a platform for getting ideas, tips, and ways in which they can, create some actionable steps to get into retail stores. If you are looking to start a brand, if you are looking to get into retail stores and you want to be inspired by that, or if you really just want to hear some amazing stories about female founders that have brands that have been successful, I definitely, ask that you check out Shelf Talks podcast. It's available on all of the streaming platforms where you can listen to podcasts, including Spotify and Apple. I have new episodes that come out every Monday, and I try to make sure I have a mix of all different types of categories and brands and even the retail stores that they go in, because I want to show like the full landscape of all of the different, not only like brands you can launch, but also all of the different, retail channels that you can get into. So I want to make sure that that's definitely visible and available for people to hear.
Along with her podcast, Roberta also wrote a book where she shares some of her tips and advice when entering the retail world. For Pitt to the Point, I'm business and technology reporter Olivia McDonald. Natalie?
Thanks, Olivia. Next, we're taking a closer look at Pitt Dance Marathon, the largest student-run philanthropy on campus.
PDM is a year-long effort that raises funds and awareness for UPMC's Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. It is all culminating in a dance marathon this spring.
Since 2005, PDM has raised over $2 million for local charities. This year, they're setting their sights on breaking $2.5 million with your support.
Let's see what this club is all about.
Imagine hundreds of students coming together, dancing for hours, not only for fun, but to make a difference. As the University of Pittsburgh's largest student-run philanthropy, Pitt Dance Marathon is more than an event. It's a movement.
So my name is Claire Emch, and I am the president of Pitt Dance Marathon this year.
My name is Paris Keegan, and I'm the director of recruitment for Pitt Dance Marathon.
Pitt Dance Marathon is the largest student-run philanthropy on Pitt's campus. We have been a student organization for the past 10 years, and in that time, we have raised over $2 million for the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh Foundation. Every week, we hold our general body meetings for our staff, chairs, and directors. We all meet together for about an hour on Tuesday nights, and we talk about a bunch of different things. So this week, we mainly talked about our upcoming registration week, and we also talked about our spring push day.
Our Reg Week is going to be the very first week of February. Our campaign is going to be The Future Starts With You, connecting to our overall year campaign, The Future Starts With Us, for PDM 10. For our 10th year as a student organization, our goal is to get as many students on Pitt's campus involved as possible and get them connected with our cause and ready to fundraise and kickstart the next couple weeks until our day of event at the end of March.
So day of this year is, that's our main event for Pitt Dance Marathon. It is a 10-hour dance marathon that takes place in the Charles L. Cost Center on Upper Campus. And this year it takes place on Saturday, March 29th from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. I'm always excited for the performers. We have lots of student orgs come and perform for us. As they fundraise throughout the year, we like to steward them and honor them at day of. However we can. I also love, we always have inflatables and lawn games. We also do crafts. With our Miracle Kids, we make posters with their names on it to make them feel super welcome. So honestly, all the interactive parts are my favorite.
People should get involved with PDM to do something that's bigger than themselves, get involved with the community, and overall just help out the Children's Hospital. We have multiple different benefits of PDM. One being you can get service hours, just get involved with your community. We also would like to showcase any organizations at our event and thank them for being a part of helping us reach that grand total at the end of the year.
The historic play Trouble in Mind is coming to Pittsburgh. For more details, we go to our entertainment reporter, Morgan Wilson. Hey Morgan, she's right here with us.
Thanks guys. The historic play Trouble in Mind is coming to the O'Reilly Theater in Pittsburgh. The playwright, Alice Childress, has talked about this play that has many topics that are very much relevant today and has had so much history and so much importance to it.
Trouble in Mind is about a troupe of actors who are staging a play about a lynching in the 50s. The prominent actress, the star of the show, Willetta Mayer, is kind of the preeminent Black actress of her time, and she clashes with the director over the portrayal of her character. This leads to the whole cast, this integrated cast of white and Black actors alike under a white director, to really examine how race is functioning in their own rehearsal room, and it's kind of a look at race in the theater industry. Alice Childress was really at the peak of her playwriting. She had been working in the theater for a while. This play became kind of her magnum opus, her biggest work. It was supposed to debut on Broadway in 1957, but it was a case of life imitating art. There were white producers who wanted to option this show for Broadway, but they were demanding her to make rewrites to the ending to make it more reconciliatory for white audiences. She rewrote the ending of the play like 15 times before she realized that she couldn't even recognize her own work anymore. So she went back to these producers and said, you can take it or leave it. And they decided to leave it for over 60 years until it finally premiered on Broadway at Roundabout Theater in 2021. If you look at the news, this is a timely play. having a play about race, about politics, about the politics of interacting with each other is super timely and important. Black actors and actresses around the country still face the same type of marginalization that they did in the 1950s. But it's also really important because Alice Childress experienced firsthand that impact that white producers had on her work. And that still happens to this day. I think it's really important because it teaches people that we are all a little more alike than we are different. And it teaches people to stand up for really what they believe in.
From February 5th to the 23rd with both in-person and even some live stream performances. For tickets, you can get them in person or online, and students even get a discounted price. For more information, you can check out Pitt's Public Theater's website. For Pitt to the Point, I'm entertainment reporter Morgan Wilfong. Natalie, Lily?
Now guys, I don't know if you really know who we're joined with, but this is Morgan. She comes from Lancaster. She has many accolades in the theater, previously playing Ella Woods in Legally Blonde. She's a talented dancer too. And I'm kind of waiting, when are you going to join the theater scene here at Pitt? Because you have so much talent. All you're doing is dance, and I don't think that's fair to your musical theater career.
Well, thank you, Lily. I appreciate that. I'm flattered. And I've been going back and forth on joining musical theater here, and honestly, it's been something I've been considering, so maybe this is just my push to do so. Natalie, Lily?
And when you do join, Natalie's our next entertainment reporter, so she will spotlight that play or musical you're in. Mm-hmm. Oh,
Absolutely. Our very own. Thanks, Morgan. If you've ever been to Pitt's Hillman Library, you might have noticed some displays and artifacts on the 3rd floor.
This is the archives and special collections, and the subject of today's crossing over at Pitt.
While most see the Hillman Library as a place to study, those who have ventured up to the 3rd floor know it has far more to offer. It's home to Pitt's Archives and Special Collections, which holds a wide selection of items from varying cultures and time periods.
The second shelf here is all from the Blair Witch Project, which is our most recent acquisition as far as big collections go, and it's also one of our most high-profile collections. My name is Julia Hodges. I am a senior undergraduate student at Pitt, and I've been working with the Archives and Special Collections since January of 2022. I mean, the Archives and Special Collections as a whole is basically the things that you're not allowed to check out when you come to get something from the library. So this is our rare materials, our manuscripts, our high profile things. We have books from hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
While the archives have several collections that make it unique, it's their horror collection that sets them apart from others.
We're the only horror studies collection of this kind in the world. And that's largely because of George Romero. So we're very lucky that our archive isn't just books and things that you would expect from a rare books collection, but we also have scripts, materials, ephemera, all kinds of stuff.
The archives have a rotating selection of items displayed at all times at the Hillman Library.
In need of some very last-minute Valentine's Day ideas? Then don't go anywhere. That and more when we return with Pitt to the Point.
Someone a long time ago had an idea that we could change the way we do things. What if you had over 30,000 big thinkers and believers behind you and $1 billion in research to make it happen? With a will that never quits in a city connected to everything. Well, you'd probably find yourself doing something truly incredible.
A Pittsburgh alumni is bringing joy to widows this Valentine's Day with a special gesture.
Lisa Kostelnick is making 400 bouquets for widows in Pittsburgh as part of the Valentine's Day Widow Outreach Project, a nonprofit started by her sister.
Kostelnick was inspired by widows she met through her gym, and this year she's taking nominations from the public.
Let's go to City Beat reporter Clara O'Bannon for more.
Thanks, Natalie and Lily. Now, happy Valentine's Day. What better way to celebrate than by assembling and delivering a bouquet of flowers to someone who might be expecting it the least this year? 2007, Pittsburgh alum Lisa Kostelnick is doing just that with her Pittsburgh branch of the Valentine's Day Widow Outreach Project.
feeling seen and loved on that day is something a lot of widows don't expect. Maybe from their families, maybe, but most of the time people just say, I didn't think anyone was going to remember me this Valentine's Day. Especially the widow that receives it for the first time because they had just become a widow. It's really powerful. The making of the bouquets is one thing. The delivery is just a whole nother level of just love. It's watching love grow.
The project was started by Lisa's older sister, Ashley Manning, after she picked up floristry during COVID. Both feeling life was extra heavy, the sisters found a way to help.
Just did it. I think a lot of times you think about projects and you can make them so overwhelming that they just don't ever get legs. So we just decided to move forward. We made all the arrangements in my kitchen that year. There were 11. And when we delivered them or had other people deliver them, because of the 11, I don't think we delivered all of them. The feeling was just, it's like you knew there had to be more. So because we could execute it pretty easily year one, and because of all the good feedback that Ashley had as well, we just said we're going to have to make it bigger next year, and it's going to be our community outreach project. So getting a little taste of it helps you to move forward and see, like, how big could this be? What impact could you have? You hear so many people on the other side of it that say, oh my gosh, I would have loved to do this for my mother. I would have loved to do this for my friend. I would have loved to do. So it just made sense. It just really, like, the ball just kept moving in the right direction.
Touching 400 widows this year, Lisa feels especially grateful for her team.
If you put people first, success will happen.
The project's main site is in North Carolina with Ashley, but there are plenty of other sites around the country, including Nashville, Tennessee, Buffalo, New York, and of course our beloved Rexburg, PA. Now the best way to help out is to volunteer or donate. You can find more information at the Valentine's Day Widow Outreach Project's website. For Pitt Point, I'm City Beat reporter Clara O'Bannon. Natalie, Lily?
Thanks, Clara.
Looking for something unique to do this Valentine's Day in Pittsburgh? We've got some ideas to make your celebration memorable.
For a one-of-a-kind experience, head to the Pittsburgh Glass Center and create a glass flower or wine glass together. It's a perfect date idea and a chance to learn from local artists.
And for a little friendly competition, head over to Ace Axe Throwing or Lumberjax's and let loose with some axe throwing fun.
And if you're looking for something romantic or an outdoor experience, why not head over to PBG Place and skate under the stars at the ice rink.
It's the perfect spot for a winter date with beautiful lights, a lovely atmosphere, and a chance to make some memorable moments on the ice.
So grab your skates and enjoy a chilly night out on the rink at PPG Place this Valentine's Day. Now, for a more charming Valentine's experience, check out the candlelit tour at the Heinz History Center.
You'll walk through historic exhibits lit by candlelight, celebrating a unique and romantic atmosphere for you and your date. It's a beautiful way to explore Pittsburgh's history.
Well, Lily, it's been really great to get to the point with you these past 3 weeks.
I just can't believe it's over, but we are going to meet our new anchors next week, Risa and Morgan. Risa is our amazing news director, and she's done a great job behind the scenes this season, this rotation, putting on our show.
Now, for the first time, happy Valentine's Day. And for the last time, thank you so much for tuning in with us for Pitt to the